Hi, it's Mike, and if you're watching this, you're using the latest version of Chess Openings Wizard and you're about to update your program, or you've just updated it, or you're definitely looking to upgrade if you've got an older version. So first, a little story. Recently, I was on a Skype call with a super GM, like top 10 in the world, and he talked about the students he takes on, and he said the weaker students will come to him asking for a particular line. Just give me a line for this, whatever, in the Alicants, let's say. But his stronger students always came to him going, give me some ideas. And that's what separated the weaker players from the stronger players. Today, I'm going to show you how to get ideas from game databases and without ever leaving Chess Openings Wizard to go to a game database. It's all built in now. So I'm looking at my London for black repertoire here, and after d4 or whatnot, so I can see the pedigree database is still there, showing me, white wins, draws, black wins, but it also has this nice metric next to it, 367.1. That 367.1 is the average number of games per 1,000 games that reach the position after d4. So let's drop in e4, for instance, just for contrast. Back up, e4 has 434.2 games per 1,000. If I wanted to add all the pedigree moves from the database played by grandmasters, because this new pedigree database is made up of only games that are between players 2,500 and up, I go down to add pedigree moves. And now it shows me even A3 and A4 have been tried. So A3 has been tried, a few games at least, but only 0.1 games per 1,000. So that means around about 1 game per 10,000 because of that decimal point. Down here we have A4, which, I don't know, maybe got tried once out of the 70-odd thousand games in this database, and that's why it's barely a rounding error, 0.0 games per 1,000. So back to my repertoire. After D4, I want to play B6 to try to thwart the London. And I'm going to play bishop b7. If they do play e3 here, they usually will. I'll play knight f6. If they go knight f3, I'm playing on e6. The position after e6 is still a pedigree database position. Reached 7 games out of 10,000 because of that decimal point right there. So I'll play e6. 7 games. So if I have about 70,000 games in my reference database, and I do, and 7 games, I should have 40, 50 games, right? So let's try to find those games for ideas. First thing I'll do is I'll say games, find games with this move order. It plugs it in, and normally this would not be checked, so we'll just leave that unchecked. So I just want to find this particular move order. It clears the list and doesn't find any games, 0 games. Now there are a couple reasons why that's happening, and that's fine. That's expected. So right now, I can go back and find out whether or not I've selected the new database file. From what I can do, there's a PGN file of all the 70-odd thousand games that came with the pedigree database that make up this pedigree reference database. And you can actually have the games and not just the moves. So if I go here and say install sample files, I don't want to install my sample ebook, so I'll leave that unchecked, but I want to install the sample PGN files. Now there's one for Fisher and one called Pedigree 2025. I'll click on install. It says they're already there. You want to overwrite them? Yes, I do. It overwrites them and tells me 2 sample PGN files were installed. Not out of the woods yet because I need to go to the games menu and select my game files. The only ones I have selected for searching currently, well, the only one I have selected is the original Fisher PGN file. So I'm going to add a file. And guess what? Now I have the Pedigree 2025 PGN file. So named because every game through the end of 2024 for the past 10 years between players 2,500 and up is in there. So I can now click OK. So those are the game files I'm looking at. If I want to go back and uncheck the Fisher one, so let's see, select game files. Like I don't want to be looking in the Fisher one right now. I just want to be looking in these 73,000 games from the Pedigree database. So I do that. And now, when I do games, find games with this move order, I'm going to select, actually I'll just leave this unchecked for a second to show you what's going on. So I click OK, but I have this particular move order, but you'll notice as I click through there, not every position had a pedigree line, right? Not every position had that nice little pedigree ribbon next to it. So that means I didn't perfectly follow any one particular game from the pedigree system. So I click OK. Sure enough, I still get 0 games added. So how do I find games that reach this position no matter what the move order was? How we do that is games, again, find games with this move order. Check this box down here, all possible move orders. Now I'll click OK. It will generate all the possible move orders, not from the game lines themselves, but it will actually go and try to find every path, every unique path from the starting position to where I am using pedigree moves. So some of these moves may have been started with one game, but finished with another. If you understand that, I hope. So transpositions. Clicking OK, and OK again, completing the search. Now I do find 54 games, and I've got them up. Let's double click on the Gatakemski game from 2019, where he won. Yay! So let's move the game window in there. So now you can see that even the game window is also making use of the pedigree ribbon and this games per 1,000 in popularity. So that's the game I have loaded, is that one. So now when I rewind, I can see something magical is happening with D4. It has a G next to it because now it knows I'm following the game. If I click on D4, B6 is not following the game. Knight F6 is following the game. So not the game, the line I was playing, but Knight F6. So I can see what the game is doing without actually looking at the game data or the game I have loaded. I can actually follow it through my repertoire by following this G. So let's say I wanted to add all the moves here that belonged in the pedigree database. Let's try that. Commands, add pedigree moves, and look at there. All kinds of moves have been tried in this position with all their statistics next to them. A few of them, of course, are trash moves, 0.0 games per 1,000. But either you're going to find a move here, which means at least one 2,500 rated player tried it against another 2,500 rated player, or if you don't find a pedigree ribbon next to a move you played, that also gives you good feedback. It tells you you are not playing a pedigree move, which is good to know. Something you can still play if you're a class player, but you'll know that you're venturing away from Grandmaster practice. So that's a lot of power. So wandering through your repertoire, it's easy to see how your moves compare with those of really strong chess players and how to add them from new ideas. And if you want even more ideas, how to go to the games menu and search for those 73,000 games to see if you've got games that have ever reached that position, at least through the first 20 or so ply. So if you definitely want to enjoy that kind of power, log in now, get your free update. If you have an older version of Chess Openings Wizard Professional, log in and buy the upgrade. It's just going to cost you a couple burritos that I'm going to enjoy. And if you don't have Chess Openings Wizard Professional at all, it might be time to get out your wallet and get you a copy because you could use this kind of power.